Hello and welcome to Station A. In this demo, we're going to walk through setting up your free Station A account, and then we'll tour through the app and explore what information is available there. To set up your Station A account, simply go to stationa.com, and at the top of the page, you'll see here this big blue Join Now button right in the center. Click on that, and you'll be asked if you want to sign into an existing account or create a new one. If this is your first time here, you'll obviously want to create a new account. I'm going to indicate that I have an account, but the walk here is the same for either. You'll next be prompted to sign in via either Google or Microsoft using your existing work email. For me, that's Google. For many others, it's Microsoft. And this is true even if your work email is at yourcompanyname.com. I recommend using your work email and not a personal Gmail, especially if your company will at some point pay for professional or enterprise level access on your behalf to the Station A app. So I'll sign in with Google. What you'll next see is a little pop-up asking for your work email and the existing password. Entering it once, as you can see, my browser remembers me and makes sign in subsequently a breeze. So now I'm in the app, and as soon as you see this, the dashboard, you've done it, you've created your account, and you'll see that you're logged in up here as well and that your account exists. So the dashboard is a place where we collect or pull things to your attention that you might care about that are pertinent. Right now, we've launched our new SGIP assistant, so we've got that there. And we also have some updates here from our updates section and links to our tutorials. These things are also all available on the left-hand navigation pane as well. We'll go through some of those later. Explore and analyze are the real workhorse areas of the app. So let's start here. I'll start on explore mode, and I'll collapse my left-hand navigation panel just so that I have more workspace available. You can see, of course, what pops up here is a map of the United States with all of these orange dots. These are all actually transmission substations. We have the whole U.S. mapped, including Alaska, Hawaii out here in the Pacific, and Puerto Rico here in the Caribbean. And what's great about the map mode is it lets you explore around and just see what's available in any area that you might be interested in. So I'll zoom in here in Southern California, and you'll start to see additional levels of detail show up as we zoom in. So first, of course, we've got those transmission substations as dots, and then you start seeing orange lines filling in between them. Those are high voltage transmission lines. And as we zoom in further, you'll start to see additional detail. So here, buildings start to pop up. And as we zoom in very close, you'll see parcel lines as well. These fine yellow lines are property parcels, and the red lines here are distribution level infrastructure, your low voltage lines. All of these buildings that are in blue are buildings that we've completed our energy modeling on. We have a threshold at 10,000 square feet of footprint to do that. So buildings over that size we've modeled, and you'll see them in blue. And any one of those you can click on, and it's going to open what we call the place card. This is the card where all of the information about that specific building lives. And I'm going to say, no, it does not already have rooftop solar. What you'll see on the front of the place card is the headline savings estimates that would be available from adopting measures or a specific set of measures. Here, the highest savings available on this building is with a combined solar plus energy storage system. And we would estimate that would save 35% off their current annual electricity spend. And if they were to do a standalone solar system without the energy storage, that could save them 24% off their existing energy or electricity bills. More detail on those quotes is given here on this quotes tab. So as we click into that, we'll see our system sizes. First, we've sized that roof and estimated that it could host 3,900 panels. That is accounting for likely obstruction and setback requirements, egress requirements, and those sorts of things. So 3,900 panels would likely equate to about 1,300 kilowatts of solar. And for an installation in Ontario, California, Southern California market of that size, we would expect a break-even PPA price to come in at about 7 cents per kilowatt hour, putting it 58% under the grid price of electricity at this location. And the solar array here, we think, could provide about 90% of this building's electricity. Pairing storage with that, we would recommend a 640 kilowatt energy storage system, and that's a 2-hour system, so 1,280 kilowatt hours worth of capacity in that system here. And we're also indicating that this building is likely going to qualify for, or could likely qualify for, California's SCHIP incentive to help reduce the cost of that battery. Further down here, we also see a cost advantage to doing just a standalone energy storage system if this building was interested in that. And here, we would estimate that this system would be roughly half of what we have recommended above. The reason is because this one is sized just for doing demand charge management, whereas when paired with solar, it's sized to do both demand charge management and increase the amount of solar self-consumption that's possible by essentially load shifting through hours of the day. Now, how do we get these quotes? This is the most common sort of set of questions that I get. And we've really sort of walked through that step by step in a logical way on these subsequent 3 tabs. So let's just step through them. The first thing that we're doing for any property is pinging the county tax assessor office. And from the county tax assessor, we're pulling the parcel number, the owner, where that's made available, the zoned use for the parcel, and information about what structure is on that parcel as well. So we'll get the square footage, the number of stories, and from that we'll be able to extrapolate the building's footprint and subsequently its roof size and its rough height. We're also able to pin it to a specific location and at the zip code level. And we can pull from that weather information, which allows us to do essentially a thermal energy model of the average building with these physical characteristics in this place. And then we're also pulling that zoned use from the county tax assessor and typing the business activity or categorizing the business activity that's going on at this location. Once we have that, we can run that through our proprietary energy modeler for that's segmented by business activity type, overlay that with a thermal energy model of that structure, and produce essentially an 8760 for any commercial and industrial building in America. And we'll present that on the energy tab in a disaggregated way, separating out the equipment load, the lighting load, and any HVAC load as independent characteristics. So you can see that for any building. And that's by month of the year here at the bottom. And once we have that model, it allows us to really make a couple of key calculations. One is the estimated annual electricity consumption at the facility, which in this case is 2.3 gigawatt hours per year. and estimate the annual peak of every facility. And again, we know exactly where that building is, so we know what utility serves it. And once you know the utility, the consumption, and the peak, you're able to match a building with a likely tariff. So on our grid tab here, we'll show you in every case for every building in the country that we've assessed, what tariffs might likely apply to that building, which one we think it is, and our degree of confidence that we're identifying the correct one. Here in SoCal Edison territory, there are a lot of likely applicable tariffs. We're modeling right now off of the TOU option D, but the TOU option B may be in place at this building as well. Out here to the right, we've got links to every tariff we've looked at and assessed. Clicking on that will open SCE's PDF of that tariff. So once we've matched it with a tariff and again estimated the consumption and peak demand, we're able to price essentially their annual spend on electricity at this location. So on an annualized basis or a levelized basis, we would expect that this facility is paying about 15.5 cents per kilowatt hour. 42% of that is demand. 57% of that is commodity. And then we have this small portion of the bill that's fixed cost. With both the fixed cost and the demand, we've levelized them over the annual consumption to give an apples to apples comparison and roll up into the price. So this gives us our price to compare against once we've estimated the cost, the PPA price of that solar system. And that gives us our overall savings figure estimate of, I think for this building, it was 34% if I remember correctly. Further down here on the grid tab, you'll see a lot of other really valuable information. Anytime we can identify that a building might qualify for an incentive program based on its location, we'll list it out here. You'll remember we called out that California's self-generation incentive program could cover roughly, or would be expected to be able to cover roughly 50% of the energy storage system at this location. Indeed, you'll see that highlighted here as well. In addition, this building is in an AB 1550 low-income community and an SB 535 disadvantaged community. Both of those can come with financial incentives as well. And below that, we've shared any information we know about a building that can help your interconnection applications. So here's the circuit that's closest to this building. That would be the hydrant circuit. And here's the substation as well. Again, that's SCE utility territory and CalISO as our independent system operator or our grid operator. So that's the information that you'll see for any building. It rolls up to that place card. Oh, it was 35% savings at this site. That's a really nice site. And you can tour around the map clicking on any of these buildings to get that same sort of information all layered in. We've got this, like you saw at the beginning, all across the country. So any of these buildings you can click on and see that place card. There are a couple of other really nice things about this map mode as well. You know, you can sort of toggle around and see an area and find buildings that look interesting just exploring. You can also layer, you know, let's say I want to shade the buildings by their solar potential so that the best solar candidates pop off the page to me, or by battery potential. Here, the darker the green, the bolder the color, the better the prospect for energy storage. We can do the same for annual peak, annual consumption. We could even layer, let's say we wanted to see solar potential in satellite mode. we can view it that way as well. So we'll take it back to the default here. And I'll also show our search function as well. So search can find specific addresses, or it can find buildings by name in a lot of cases. So let's say you're working with BASF as a potential client, and you know they have a facility near Edison, New Jersey. Sure. Let's go with Raritan Center Parkway. And that's going to fly us directly to the BASF facility in Edison, New Jersey. And we can see also all of its surrounds. It's in a very industrial area here, it looks like. We can also, click on any of the buildings that are around that one as well and see all that same information. It doesn't matter where we are in the country. So let's say we wanted to find BASF near Charlotte, North Carolina. We'll just hit enter, and that is going to fly us to their location in Charlotte, North Carolina. And we can open the place card just the same. And having information across the states in a really consistent format is very helpful when dealing with a portfolio client, because it allows you to speak knowledgeably about all of their sites in the same terms, and again, without requiring them to provide you with any bill actuals up front. Can really help lead a conversation. In addition to names, we can search by specific address. So let's say we want to check out 8500 Wade Boulevard. Sure. In Frisco, Texas. Yeah. Let's go to Frisco, Texas and see. This is Otis Spears Elementary School. And we can see as well on our location tab, it is a municipally owned building. It's great to be able to confirm the ownership like that. As powerful as Explore mode is, I really think that Analyze mode is even more powerful. What Analyze mode lets us do is essentially compile lists of properties and see all of the information that's nested in those tabs across the place cards in list format. So let's create a sample list here. And I'll click Save, and I'll be given the invitation to set criteria for my list. Now, when I come here to set criteria, I have 5 potential types of criteria I can set. Let's start with location, because I think that's pretty fast and easy. Let's say we want to look at Worcester County, Massachusetts. So I'll set USA, Massachusetts, and Worcester. So I can, if I want to, go into specific zip codes, one or more, and really winnow my list down geographically. But for right now, let's look at the whole county of Worcester, Massachusetts. I'll click Save, and that'll create the list of all the buildings in Worcester County that we have completed our energy model on. That's 10,046 in this specific county. And you'll see a couple of things right away about a list. One is these aggregate badges at the top. They're representing the aggregates of all of the buildings on any list at any given time. And in addition to the average, you can click on them and see the minimum, maximum, and sum of the list as well. So these 10,000 buildings collectively consume 4.1 terawatt hours of electricity every year. You'll also notice that each one of these badges corresponds with a column on the list. I can use Edit View to change what columns I'm looking at. So let's say I don't care about roof area or parcel area, or peak or consumption. What I want to see on my list is solar potential, battery potential, owner, and their total cost of electricity. Let's just leave those on for right now and see what that looks like. So now those are my columns across the top. Each numerical column has a corresponding aggregates badge above, and then any numerical column I can sort. So here now are 10,041 buildings in Worcester County, Massachusetts, ranked by solar potential. And I can just work through this list in order, clicking on any one of them to open their place card for that building. And our algorithm has already sensed that they have solar, which is pretty great. So you'll see that sometimes on cards. We're trying to help you out in real time identify that. So you can see how you can work through a list and find, again, all of that same information for specific buildings nested into the place cards. But what this gives you is the ability to essentially rack and stack many properties at once against each other and find the ones that you're most interested in. Now, within our list, we can continue to winnow it. So let's say I want to go back into those criteria and you know what? Now I want to apply some physical requirements. So I want to see roofs that are between 25,000 square feet and 100,000 square feet. So I can set that as a filter and click save. And now my list will be winnowed down to almost 1,500 buildings that are between 25,000 and 100,000 square feet of roof. There are other ways that I can winnow my list to target what I'm after as well. Let's clear out those physical requirements. And let's say I need at least 500 kilowatts of battery potential to make a site worth my while. I click save there, sort by battery potential. And right now I've got 83 buildings in Worcester County, Massachusetts with at least 500 kilowatts of battery potential ranked in order of their battery potential. At this point, probably what I would do if I was doing the outbound sales prospecting for this county is I would either share this list with my colleagues for collaboration, or I would download this list. Downloads are for the top 100 records on any list as they appear at that time, as in their current sort order. I might download this list of 83, upload them into my CRM like Salesforce, and start my prospecting there. Other ways that I see a lot of value being derived from analyze mode is when folks are looking to enter new markets and trying to assess, is this a market that has potential for me writ large? So, for example, let's say you're looking at Michigan and you're wondering if it makes sense to put an office in Wayne County. Let's just see what Wayne County looks like in Michigan. So right here, we've got 2,100, well north of 2,100 buildings that I could work through just in Wayne County, Michigan as well on that list. Another way to slice and dice, let's take all of the locational information off and let's search for utility territories. Like maybe I'm trying to assess if it makes sense to look at Ameren's territory in Missouri. I can put in Ameren, Missouri, run that list, and see how many properties are there. Oh, almost 5,000, a little bit shy of 5,000 in Ameren's Missouri territory. You know, you can really work your list and continue to apply cascading criteria to get this to be something that you're really able to target in on. So let's see that, Ameren in Illinois. There we go. In Illinois, we've got almost 7,000 buildings in Ameren territory. So this is a really, really powerful way to work through buildings, add columns as you want to. Let's see our programs that we'd qualify for here. Let's see our roof area, for example. So you can sort and filter by whatever you would want and really be able to find the prospects that you most like in any given territory. And as we spoke about, that is truly nationwide. There isn't another software program out there that can rival empowering you with this much information to walk in the door with your customers on day one. We're glad to have you using the app. Quickly before we go, these last three that I promised to talk through, if you ever forget anything that we went over today, fear not. The tutorials are here always on demand for you. We've kept them short and pithy, one for each major area. There's just an overall one for the list mode there in Analyze, and one for the map mode in Explore. So they're here for you. Updates is where we'll let you know what we've been working on, and often it's a bug fix and performance improvements. Every so often we unleash some pretty significant additional functionality for you. And whenever it's a more impactful release from a functionality perspective or a features perspective, we'll give it a longer write-up here in the updates section so that you know what new power is at your fingertips and how to derive the most benefit from it. Lastly, here we have our account section. Here you can set up your profile. If you're on our free tier and you would like to upgrade to the professional level, which gives you all the information that you saw today, billing is where you do that. Mine is showing as active. If you're on your free trial, this box will indicate free trial. If you're at our free tier, our basic, that would be indicated here as well. And this would be where you would click, and when you're on the free tier, this will say, invite you to essentially purchase the pro level or upgrade. Also on account, you can find our terms of use and our privacy policy anytime, and very usefully, helpfully, here's how to get in touch with us. If you ever have a billing issue or any product issues, and especially points of feedback, we love to hear what our users think. Constructive or full of praise, it doesn't matter. Please feel free to contact us. We love to hear from you. And you can do that at the help section in the account. So that's it. That's Station A. Thanks for setting up your account. I look forward to hopefully meeting each one of you on calls as we can moving forward. Thanks.